Quick question. Have you ever felt like you're not good enough, stuck in the same old habits, or wondered if there's more to life than just chasing success? Maybe you've achieved a lot in other people's eyes, but still feel something's missing. Do you find yourself searching for meaning, perceived happiness, or purpose? If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place at the Masters of Wellness podcast. Today's guest, Nicolette Nierras, or Nick, helps people just like you break out of those patterns. She's the founder of Nick Nierras Holistic Lifestyle, and she's created a simple, powerful approach called the Worthy, Authentic, and Abundant Method.
Welcome to the Masters of Wellness podcast, your ultimate path to holistic health, wellness, and success. Discover the powerful fusion of Eastern wisdom and Western science, designed to balance your mind, body, and spirit. Our channel brings you holistic wellness practices, effective strategies to boost productivity, and insights on stress reduction and active aging. Join our global community and transform your life with holistic wellness. Cheers to a healthier, happier you.
Welcome to the Masters of Wellness podcast. I'm Edward Curtin with co-host Chuck, the Cat Whisperer, joining us. Now, Nick, usually when guests come on, the first thing they jump into is who they are, what they're doing, how they help people. But we always like to start at the beginning. And by the beginning, I mean, let's go back to Nick as a child. Where did you grow up? Tell us about your early years. And obviously that helps to add some context to the journey that you're about to share with us.
Wow, the young Nick. Okay, thank you, Ed. So I grew up in Sandakan, Sabah, Malaysia. So it's Borneo for people that are not familiar with the geography of Malaysia. So grew up in the 1990. I'm a millennial. So grew up. My dad has always taught me and my sister the key to changing your life is education. So my dad has always told us, okay, the key to changing your life is education. And I remember him telling me, because I am the eldest, to, okay, study, study, study. So you get, good grades. So you can graduate flying colors. Asian parenting, get good job, buy all the houses and the cars. So I bought into that narrative for at least until I was 30. So I studied until 17, got myself all the A's, became a valedictorian, and off I went. At 17, I've always wanted to earn my own money, because I remember this at a shop or anywhere I go, I will only be awarded with things that I want if I do good. Now, don't get me wrong, that reward system is good. It makes you work for it. But when you tie your self-worth or you being lovable to that, that is a very detrimental way of thinking, especially to a child. So I brought that with me into the working world at 17. I remember telling my dad, okay, I wanted to pursue higher education somewhere in Kuala Lumpur, the capital city, because I wanted to get away from them. I wanted to see what life is like. And I did. So I made sure I got the A's, and I went and got myself, I chose the cheapest foundational program that I could for me to just get away from the house. So I did. And I became a valedictorian in that school. So after that, I wanted to pursue my ACCA, professional accountancy qualification. So I went back and told them, okay, let me work for a year. That was in 2008. I was 18 at the time. That was the first time me being exposed to corporate world. And I'm like, okay, let's save some money up for me to pursue the education. So I did. And I said to my dad, because growing up, I wanted to become a pilot. I wanted to become either a pilot, a cardiologist, or a police officer. I knew that I wanted to go out. I know those were really contrasting occupation, but I think the key thing was to serve, right? In hindsight, it was all about serving, but I didn't know that because I was after the money. So yeah, I'm not. I admit that I was after the money because I thought that was the version of success that I should be after. And I was wrong. At 18, I planned out my life carefully. By 30, I should be at a job, at least on my way to a C-suite, get a houses, maybe a house first at 30, and cars and whatnot, achieving my target amount of savings. And I thought after 30, life was just gonna, sort itself out. But everything came crumbling down at 30. So, and I had to restart from scratch again. Why? So remember in 2008, worked, and then 2009 I worked for a year. In 2010 I said to my dad, okay, I'm going off. That was the first time me leaving the nest for good, at least for 15 years. And I was climbing up the ladder, and when I was 25, I thought to myself, okay, maybe it's time for me to settle down. And I was on track. And I met my then husband, now no longer my husband, ex-husband. And I said to myself, I was with 2010. So when I was 20 to 2020 to 24, I was with my first boyfriend, and he asked me to get married, and I said, "That's too early. I mean, I haven't seen the world." And so my and my dad was, and if I were to tell that idea to my dad would be like, "You are crazy. No, don't do that." So I manufactured an ending with him, because it was a foreigner. He was here. We were in university together, so we studied. And then when his visa came to an end, he had to leave. And I said, okay, I don't think we're gonna work out. So when I was 25, I did some exploring and met my then husband. And I remember praying to God, okay, let the man who comes next be my spouse. And I said, even if there are red flags, I'll accept them. I mean, I didn't say it like that, but I really took it literally that the next guy would be that. So my husband came, and we became best friends, like immediately. Within 3 months, he proposed. And because I remember the prayer, and I thought this was the sign. Maybe I think in hindsight right now, it was the answer that I was looking for. We are where we're meant to be. And so I told my mom and dad that I wanted to get married. And they were shocked. My friends were shocked. They said, okay, Nick, I would actually peg you as somebody who would be the last to get married because of your nature. It's like, no, no, no. I love this guy. We're going to go and do it. Because it was a different religion. He practiced a different faith. And that even escalated the whole tension in the family. But I went ahead anyway. So we did in 2017, but didn't last for very long. We decided to part ways in 19. And that was the start of my own spiritual awakening. There were so many things that were not right during the beginning of the relationship, because I've always had this belief in my head that you've got to earn something for you to be loved. So that's in my career, and it's served me well until before COVID. And for the love department, I said to myself, if this guy really wanted to get married to me, because I guess it was safer for me because he wanted to marry me, because he was the one who wanted to get married. So I said, okay, he may love me more than I do. Even though I did love him, but there were a lot of things going into my head. I mean, the overthinking was very overwhelming. So 19, we decided to go on separate ways. And that's when my career and my self-identity, I had to unlearn everything that I knew about myself. So number one, there were so many things that were wrong, but I could point out number one. Number one, I didn't really think, I went on a whim. And then number two, I tied my self-worth into my achievements. And number three, had I really thought about what's next, how could my life be different? So in 2020, that was the first time in the longest time, for the last 10 years, that I've been by myself, meaning not attached to anybody. And COVID made it happen. And in 2020, I started doubting who I was, because how could the person that I actually wanted to spend the rest of my life with, sort of quote unquote betray me. And there was a third party involved. I oh, I found myself blaming it on me because I really didn't get to know each other, and there were things that happened along the way as well that made it impossible for us to see eye to eye again. And we parted ways, and that was a time where I felt the Nicolette that I knew had to be the layers that I had put on all over the years. I have to delayer them. I don't know if that's the right word, and really strip to my core. Who am I? Who is this soul walking on this earth should be? And that's when I started questioning about my beliefs with my dad, my beliefs at work, my beliefs in love. And I remember going to a friend when I started my spiritual awakening. I went into astrology. I went into all the divination tools that I could get my hands on, Jungian philosophies, all Hermeticism. I went into it because I wanted to understand is there something wrong with me, or am I the only person in the world that's like this? That I cannot seem to, nothing seemed to be working. It was working for the first 29 years, and in the 30th year, I couldn't even recognize my life anymore. And I remember a friend of mine told me this. He told me this very word 4 times. He repeated this 4 times. He said, because I kept on asking him, okay, when I got divorced, I said, I don't want to process this loss right now. Let me focus at what I do best, which is working and climbing up the corporate ladder. And that also happened. That did not happen the way that I wanted to. In COVID, I was seconded into really, really crappy projects that made me really think, I thought I was a achiever. I was flying because I was promoted twice in a year. And then the third year, it became the bosses were against me. I didn't know what was happening. I thought, oh, finally karma is caught up with me. Yeah. And he said to me, Nick, you need to love yourself. I kept on asking him, what about the next child that I'm going to get? Who is this next person that I'm dating? All those very superficial questions. Like I wasn't even learning the lessons just yet. I was still hoping that my old life would be back, or I could just patch things up and then just go on my merry way. And he said, you need to love yourself. And I'm like, what do you mean by loving yourself? I take myself out on dates. I take myself on massages and whatnot. I said, no, you need to love yourself. Okay, let me ponder on that. Let me sit with that. And then 5 years in, this year will be the 6th year of finding myself healing and walking. Proud to say that I have started my own podcast, spoken to hundreds and hundreds of people, and been a guest as well for about 50 guests at the moment, and helping individuals with my framework that I've come up after going through those very traumatic times in my life the last 5 years. And that's the worthy, authentic, and abundant framework. So now I'm not going to say that I've done healing. We are never going to complete our healing until we're 6 feet underground. But glad to say that I feel at peace.
Yeah. Hey, can I make an observation? What we do in this show is at least one time. And I'm hoping that now the guests can do it, because it's normally either me or Ed that we have like oh my gosh, a moment.
Okay.
I think I just figured out that when you were dreaming of what occupation you wanted when you were growing up, in your mind, you have this story stuck in there that it's because of money.
Yes.
Naturally.
Yes.
You know what I think it was for? Because you like uniforms.
What? Wait, what?
You like dressing up in uniforms. You like dressing up in uniforms. A police officer,
right.
uniform.
Yeah.
Right?
A pilot.
What were the other two? I remember when you said it, I was like, oh, each one of them.
A pilot as well. Yeah. I like, yeah.
Uniform.
You're right. And
like
I'm wearing, and I'm wearing like, this is what I wear to work. I mean, before. So yes, you're right, Chuck.
So let yourself go there, but great story.
It's all about cosplay.
Yes. Oh my God, that was too serious. Yes,
wow.
I
Well, that is really incredible to hear that journey. Thank you so much. And when you look at the career of accounting is a logical career. You're talking about numbers and spreadsheets and data and things like that. And what you spend time doing now is helping people, tapping into emotion, learning and sharing people's journeys. Like we're talking about two extreme opposites here, like absolute logic and then absolute opposite to logic. How did that, like, where's that bridge? Is it because you wanted to push that away and get as far away from that as possible, so that drew you to what you're doing now? What, like, how just in your mind, where's that connection that you think, oh, I used to do this and now I'm doing this? Like, it's pretty extreme.
It is because I'm okay. Safe to. I'd like to share that I'm also a Scorpio, so I like the idea of not like the idea. I subscribe to the idea of some of the philosophers out there, like the Hermetic law. So as above, so below. Whatever happens in the cosmos, it happens here on Earth, and it's within us because we are the universe experiencing itself through us. And so I like the fact that I am a Scorpio. That means I'm very emotional. But since a child, since a kid, I was never really allowed to tap into that, and I was very intuitive. So every time I can sense something, and every time I choose to not heed or look at that like thoroughly, something bad would happen. And I pretty much shut off that part of my brain or that part of myself and purely went on purely on the logical analytical track, one track mind. And when I was wailing by myself in my studio in 2020, I started and I started to put myself and allow myself to feel every emotion that I've suppressed so far. Like the friends that I have not spoken to for a long time. When I was working as a consultant, they would ask me out and I would actually just like shut them up and say, "Hey, I'm busy." And made me feel like I was above them, like, "Oh, I'm doing something super important. Like you can wait." And when I had nobody at the time, I was like, excuse my language, damn, now you deserve this. So I felt allowed myself to feel that, and I allowed myself to go into that depths. But once you go into that depth, you it could be difficult for you to bring yourself back out because that's like, that's you self-loathing, blaming yourself, all the things that happened to you. I know that I could feel very deeply. So in during that time, it's not sort of a force, but I force, yeah, I force myself to really float, not literally, but to really unravel all the emotions, all the things that I have built as Nicolette, the achievements, and what is it that I've been running away from, my emotions. So on the left hand, I have this identity in my mind. Okay, I'm a successful consultant, accountant, whatever. On the right hand side is the future. Are you going to continue to dismiss the fact that are actually you're very very good with people? You can feel what they feel, but you choose not to. And I said, if you die tomorrow, who do you want to be remembered as? What do you want to be remembered as? As the person who actually I called Nick the other day, but she didn't have the time to answer my call, and we kept on postponing our meetup. I don't really want to be remembered as that. She it seemed to me that she put her career more than at the time my brother-in-law was also diagnosed with lymphoma. I wasn't there for him as much as I could, but this was also the time that I was really trying to find out about myself. And it was a lot of shifting, a lot of going back and taking steps forward, going back, taking steps forward. And you cannot do the 180 shift just one time. So for me, at least it took me 4 years to really accept and understand, okay, this is the trajectory that I want to be at. The kind of belief that I had to dismiss or reprogram and deprogram and reprogram in. I'd never want to lose that business side, that business acumen, because I love numbers, I love business, but I also want to get in touch to my humanness. And that's that's the bridge as to what started me off on this journey.
Nick, it sounds like you have gone through this journey, and from what I'm hearing, maybe my ears are deceiving me, so correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I'm hearing, it sounds like relationships with others, love relationships with future and existing spouses and friends seem to be where you felt like you could improve the most. So how did you then transition from that to finding out how to love yourself? Because it seems like a lot of these relationships you were trying to figure out with others, but really at the end of the day, you had to probably figure out how to have a relationship with yourself, right?
Yeah. Well, that is my topic of my podcast, self-worth. What is my self-worth? Am I only valuable when there's somebody to love me? Am I only valuable when somebody employ me with this amount of money that I have expected for it to be? Am I only valuable when I'm driving my A class or B class or whatever? And no, when I answered, for example, when I answered my friend's phone call who's crying and sobbing in the middle of the night saying, Nick, I don't think that this is working out for me anymore and I need somebody to talk to. And to be there, to not dismiss her and just have that choice to just be present with her and say, hey, this is me. Because I think I connect the value of my own self-worth to how people perceive me as. So you gave me a very good point. Now I'm having a revelation, another revelation. When first come to Jesus moment,
Yeah.
I'll only feel valuable if my friend could call me in the middle of the night and answer. Right?
That's how you felt.
Yeah, that's how I felt. But right now, no. It's because she knows that I am there for it, and I am a good friend, an authentic friend who would still see her during her good times and her bad times, regardless of the time. She's gonna be okay. She's gonna be understanding that if I could pick up her phone at 2 a.m., but if I couldn't as well, I wouldn't love her any lesser. So I had to believe that about myself, because if I kept on seeing myself through other people's lenses, then what is the amount of, who will I amount to? I will never be enough.
Yeah.
Ooh,
And
that's a good one.
Is that lens the same for everybody? And is that the lens the same for you, looking yourself in the mirror?
Exactly.
It's
And I
not
need to
everyone's lens.
like myself, not as what others see.
So you've developed this, remind me what you call it, but mechanism that helps you find your
Framework.
self-worth. Is that right?
Yes.
Framework.
It's called Worthy, Authentic, and Abundant. So I was trying to figure out, because as a consultant, we all would train to find things and slap it on our client's face and say, hey, this is a framework or a method, go do it. But I mean, truly, jokes aside, truly it is a method that I found worked for me. And I remember somebody said this, you don't try to find what works for other people, try to find what works for you, and the right people will be attracted to you. Yeah. And so I had to figure out and research about my own self-worth. So that's where the worthy part comes in. I need to know that if I'm charging this amount, I believe in my head and in my heart and in my soul that I'm worthy of that amount. So I had to do a lot of reprogramming. And that's where I studied hypnosis as well, because that's one of the modalities that I believe has helped me. Our subconscious runs 95% of our daily lives. I'm sure you all know that. And 5% is only unconscious. So if I believe that I'm not ever going to have money because of this is a narrative that I will continue to create every waking moment of my life. So I have to reframe that. Number one, that's when the worthiness comes in. The second part is authentic. If you know you're worthy of the business, the career, the love of your life, the love in your life, the significant other. You cannot show up as anybody else besides yourself. You have to show up as you, authentically you. So inside this, it's actually an 11-step journey. I take people with me. There are modules and exercises in it. So the first part would be four modules. The second part would be another five. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 10, 11. So there's another two in the middle, at the end. But truly, the whole idea is if you know your self-worth, number two, you show up authentically. The third part is almost as automatic. You are going to attract abundance in your life because what? You know your self-worth. You're going to automatically weed out all those people that do not vibrate the same frequency as you are.
Mhm.
And I love speaking up. I guess I really stepped into my authenticity when I started my own podcast and naming it You're Worthless. A lot of people said it's too long, Nick. Why you name it like that? And it's dark. But I'm like, you know what? I tried searching. There's nobody, number one. But this is what I want to name. I remember talking to another podcast, get a host. He said, "Why don't you rebrand to Nick Nierras
Mhm.
Holistic Lifestyle?" I'm like, I know that is my umbrella, but Your Worthless is the start of everything. That's the genesis of me speaking up. No. So yes.
So yes,
So yes, 11-step journey. Abundance is your birthright. And yeah, I mean, there are modules. I could go very deep into it, but the overarching theme is to realize that you're worthy as you are. You don't need to do and to prove yourself to the world. This is that you are lovable enough, that you are worthy, and that you are enough, point blank, that you are just enough because you are here. You are already a matter. You take up space. So in itself, you matter.
Nicolette, what would you say to a person who's listening to this that might have abundance in their lives? Maybe they're a CEO or an executive or just really wealthy. Like lucky for them, right? But that side of their life is good, but for whatever reason, they're just deep down inside, they feel like they're they're not there, like they're empty, like they just haven't accomplished what they wanted in their life in the other parts of their lives. What would you say to them? Because maybe what they're thinking to themselves is, well, I have abundance, so how did I have that frequency even though I'm dead inside in a way? Not that's just this oversimplification of what's maybe going on.
Mm-hmm.
If their energy level and vibration is really that low, that's leading to the other parts of their lives being so bad, how are they creating abundance?
I love that. Whatever that you think about, it becomes a reality, Chuck. In fact, the three of us sitting here, we manifested this, right? And the car that so let's say that person, I want to secure this 100 million deals. The energy are all into the 100 million deals, and I don't really care if it's going to impact the other aspects of my life, my health, my family, or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and get it. And he or she will get it. Now, after getting it, the question comes in, why did you want to get? I think the question, first things first, usually something will happen in their life, either a personal loss, or maybe being diagnosed, then that will change the trajectory of their life. And they start thinking, oh, what have I been doing so far? Am I proud of these things or am I not proud? And if you are aware enough, you'll take care of all of these aspects because, let's say, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the wheel of life. You have let's say 8 points of your life. You have your friendship, your significant, your family, your career, your hobbies, your passion. And your career is the only thing that you focus on, and the rest are like, are not. So it's not going to be a perfect round. So if you're focusing on that, you are going to get it, Chuck. You will. But the cost behind it is your family and your relationship. Most likely it's that, or your health. right? And for those people that are thinking like this at this point, or they're at a crossroads, I'm saying to you, it's not too late. Kudos for actually being aware and understanding that you are here at this crossroads and you're not just churning and grinding and hustling while not taking stock of what else is happening in your life. I would tell them, okay, Nick, I have this, but I'm not fulfilled. I don't feel like I am really in my purpose. So I say, okay, strip down all of your accolades, strip down all your achievements, your failures, your successes, and look at your soul, because we are your soul beings in a vessel, right? Who are you as a soul? Number one, did you answer your mother's phone calls last week that she said, okay, come over because I've been wanting to make you this dish? Number two, did you feed the cat that was on the roadside? Did you stop and talk to that person who's actually lost with their, I don't know, their direction in the country? Or did you see, because we can sense where we are in terms of importance, right? How urgent that thing is, or that person is. If you stopped and believed in yourself that you've provided some level, or you're kind enough to stop and really put your heart and soul into that situation at that moment, then you have fulfilled your purpose. So I'm not saying that you should go and change your life 180 right now, but start with that small little thing and then move it up gradually.
You have unpacked a lot there, Nick, and I think it's a testament to show why you are so good at what you do. If you, let's say, for example, you wanted to become a good tennis player, it makes sense to get coaching from someone who has played professional tennis. If you had an opportunity to receive tennis coaching from Rafa Nadal or Roger Federer or Djokovic, someone like that, that would be like a dream come true, right? Because forget about all the accomplishments that they've achieved, but think about the journey they've had to go through to get to where they are. That moment when they're standing on the podium holding up the cup from the US Open or Australian Open, something like that, that's only a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But oh my goodness, how many years and hours and early mornings and grinding has gone behind that for them to have that position. And then the accolade is just there as this is a moment in time. So I really believe the best healers, the best helpers are the people that have been through the most challenging journeys themselves, because they can identify when they look and listen to another person what this person is experiencing. There's nothing worse than a so-called healer that says, oh yeah, I can help you, or a business coach, oh yeah, I can help you grow your business. Have you ever grown a business? Possibly not, right? So it's very, very important that the person you are receiving advice from and learning from and receiving support from has got their own journey. And your journey has got some stories inside it that become lessons for other people. Just listening to you has made me identify some moments in my own life where I thought, oh, that actually happened to me as well. Do you have any success stories that come to mind where you have spent some time with someone and you've helped them on their journey and they've come through and changed their life, or had some incredible achievement or accomplishment because of how you've helped them?
Yeah, the first person that came to mind is this girl from Washington. So I never saw her liking my post on Instagram, but I asked her, how did you find me? I Googled you. I wanted to know somebody who could help me, take me out of my spiritual stuckness. So, and she found me and she set up a call with me. And I'm like, okay, let's see, who's this? The moment we clicked, it was like a dam with, the water just kept flowing out, and we connected immediately. So a bit of her backstory. She grew up as a foster kid. The biological parents were addict, and her parents now took her in, and she has experienced, violence, abuse, drug abuse, alcoholism. She also is, at the time when this was actually in April this year. And we were still in contact, but she was with me for 3 months at least. We're still in contact. April, May, June. Yeah. And she came to me because she's done the healing on herself, but she couldn't get herself out from that stuckness of what ifs. What if this is not what I wanted to do? The whole gunk that was holding her back, she believed that she deserved that because of her childhood. This is where she belonged. But I told her we did some work. We went deep into the worthiness part. There were a lot of things. Because she was a foster kid, she had to believe that she had to earn the love of her now parents. And we had to work that through. And she said to me, if I hadn't met you, I don't think I'll be able to get myself out from this job. So at the time she resigned from a sales consultant job. So she was also a very intuitive person and she wanted to tap into that. But because of money, scarcity mindset, she had to stick with that, what she knew. But push comes, whatever happened, she had to resign and her dad is the one supporting her at this point. And she came to me at the time and I told her, so what is it that you want to do now? So it became, after working with me, she loved my work. And she asked me if she could become my mentee instead of a coachee. And I said, can I work under you? And I'm like, okay, that's a big ask. I never thought somebody would ask that about me, but of course I'll be able to help you whenever, however way that I can. And so since then, so at the time she was fighting custody with her ex-partner, the father of her kid, and she was procrastinating that. At this point, she has decided to look for a 9 to 5 that's more aligned to her soul. At the same time, take up a spiritual life coaching because that's what she wanted to do. I help her find that passion. Well, anyway, it was already within her, but she just needed some reassurance. And then number 3, she's taking they have this parenting plan in the States, right? Where, the father and the mother gets certain time and days, but she's fighting for the main custody. And she's been, postponing that for the last 2 years. And so things are actually going really, really well for her. Just last week, she told me she has risen above all of that. And I told her, all this gunk that's trying to pull you back out, you just need to set your mind and your intention. This is not where you belong. And what your objective is just to take your child out from that mess. And so she did. So she filed and she's waiting for that motion right at this point, and she's going to start her spiritual life coaching certification, I think within this month or next month even. And by the way, the 9 to 5 job, she's been waiting for this for months, and right now she's going to be called for an interview. So that's the first thing that came to mind. One success story.
And a few times during this episode, especially at the beginning, you did mention your dad. How is your relationship with your dad now?
Yeah, I confronted him about why I'm like the way I am. And he said some things to me too. And I told him, you only knew this is the first time you being a parent as well in this lifetime. And you're only doing the best that you can at that point. And now I know better. And I know how to act better and I know where you came from. And so I love you. We're still going to go ahead together. And right now, our relationship has been the closest we've ever been.
Wow. So Nick, now speaking to a global audience, it seems that each of us and most people that we do speak to on our podcast have been on a trajectory that reaches a point where they say, this is not right, and then change and start another direction again. So having some experience in life, in your journey, how to help people to avoid having to go all the way to disaster before they decide to change something.
I guess I'm going to go back to the number 1, the question that I asked everybody. First thing, just strip away all of your challenges, your failures, your successes, and who are you as a soul person here on earth. And then start making your way, paving your way one foot at a time from that moment onwards. So if, let's say, you're stuck in a job that you don't really like, but it's paying you good, but because you have child support and whatnot, don't do it. Don't do anything too drastically. Okay. Don't jeopardize your own livelihood first, but go and find people who has actually done that. It's just myself or other people that you connect with online. Number two, I like to leave people with this quote. We all have both masculine and feminine energies. So the masculine side, I think the earlier part of my years, me operating on my masculine side, like do, go, go, go. Now the second part of my years is me tapping into that femininity where, we're receiving. We know that we're worthy, so therefore we're receiving. We expect abundance to come into our life. But this next part is to balance between masculine doing and being, right? And so I like to leave people with these two quotes and food for thought, something to ponder on. Number one, fail often, fail fast, fail forward. Quote number two is a juxtaposition to that in it's rather oxymoronic, but nature is never in a hurry, yet everything is accomplished. Those are two very end of the spectrum, right? Your job is to stay in the middle and go when you need to go. Seize the opportunity, but learn when to let go and smell the roses.
Well, I'm writing. That's gold. I'm just having an epiphany. There it is. Nature is never in a hurry, yet everything is accomplished.
Yes.
My goodness. I just got goosebumps. I got goosebumps when I heard that right now. That's amazing. I have to digest that after the episode and think about it. And yeah, I'm going to write an article on that.
Well.
Wow. Nick, you have mentioned that you prayed at the beginning to ask for something. What role does religion play in your life?
I was born Catholic, raised as a Catholic. And when I met my then husband, I was introduced to Islam. And after that, I went into my own spiritual awakening, which is Taoism, Buddhism, Hinduism even. And right now I practice spirituality. And I think it's beyond just religion. I believe there is higher power in the universe and there is a creator for everything. So I would want to replace the word religion with spirituality in my life or where I am at this point. Though I go to church, that is, I find an anchor in my life, but I open my mind up to receive and believe that everybody is made in God's image, in the higher power's image. And so there is light within them. And so that's how I should treat them, regardless of where they are, a Muslim or agnostic or atheist. Yes. So to answer your question, spirituality transcends beyond religion in my life at this point. I try to have a connection with the divine and see myself as his vessel. So whatever work that I'm supposed to be doing here on earth, let it be experienced through me. And it is my human right to be here. And I chose to be here on earth. So the heartbreak, the joy, the suffering, the rage, the happiness, it is all part of me being human. Because if we all go back to source, it is unconditional love. And that's why we're here. We're here to experience all that.
You really do harness all the energy of Scorpio, right? Those adjectives you used just there. Oh my goodness. I have known some Scorpios in my life and yeah, they can be extreme.
Yeah. So, I mean, I used to see myself as very weird. Like, why am I wired this way? So why don't I turn this into my superpower? So
yeah,
I'm trying to tap into that.
Yeah. So we do a fun little part of the podcast called Rapid Fire. So it's like 60 seconds of quick questions and 1 or 2 word answers. First thing that comes to your mind, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. 1 word to describe your journey.
Tumultuous.
Nice. Okay. Next question. A book everyone should read.
Dale Carnegie, The Art of Influencing People.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah. Nice one. One thing you do every day for your health or happiness.
I talk to people and I watch videos on YouTube regarding spirituality.
Okay. Next question. The biggest surprise you've had on your journey.
That is not, the healing does not end. There's always thing that I'm learning every day. And I need to heal
nice.
from.
Okay. One more question from me. Who inspires you?
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, I've seen some incredible healing come from Tony Robbins. So I agree. He is an incredible guy.
There's a theme here, and I know you've discovered that, hey, maybe all of these questions about yourself came from questioning the relationships you have with others. And then ultimately that led you to finding yourself and your self-worth and loving for yourself. That generally leads to the happiness of having good relationships with others. So
okay,
we started before. We started before with Mr. Edward and his putting a ring on it. When you get a ring, girl?
Manifesting, Chuck. Manifesting.
Right.
I believe. Okay, well, I don't mind you sharing this to the world. It's okay. Right now, I'm not shying away from getting to know people who wants to get to know me. But I can tell you that I am a little bit wiser now on when they are coming in with the right intention or with the wrong intention, because I am looking for something long term at this point. So, if they come in and say where this goes, and I'm like, okay, I've got so many other important things I can put my, my focus on, which is my business, my podcast, and I'm probably joining the 9 to 5 again because my ex-boss has asked me. And I'm like, you know what? You're there. The person, for me to want that person, it means that I'm lacking within myself. So I need to be that. I need to be that for me first. So whoever comes along is just a compliment to my personality, to myself. So
yeah,
to answer
stay
that.
on your wavelength.
Yeah.
Stay on your wavelength to the person you meet. Identify that that's the one.
That's right. Yeah.
I have I'm getting downloads, okay? And I just got a download that said that your guy or your person is at a Tony Robbins convention and you got to go in person.
Really? Okay. I mean, this is not a coincidence.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it as a sign as well. Okay. Well, thank you. Chuck.
Yeah. Just saying.
Chuck has manifested things before that have come true before our eyes, so don't take it lightly.
Our last guest.
Chuck, I'm gonna hold you to it. Really? Okay. So I'm gonna have to check when is Tony Robbins next live. It's in November. Usually he holds it in November. Okay.
Chuck, why don't we give Tony a call, get him on our podcast? What do you think about that? Shout out to Tony Robbins. Just give us a call, buddy. Free up a spot for you. So, Nick, if you ever did go back into accounting, like if you went back to the 9 to 5 and to that career direction again, what would you do differently this time based on what you've learned?
I'd probably work more with individuals, more on the talent side. Because, I mean, we all know the biggest asset to an organization is the people. So I'd like to tap into that. And I do have the foundation about the back end of it, how to do the accounting, how to implement strategies, how to read the financial statements. It's all done. But the people is what I'm tackling too. And so I would love to use this as I build my empire as well. So yeah.
Totally makes sense. Lots of people do struggle with self-worth, whether they like to admit it or not, to different degrees. What's a quick tip for someone that is watching this episode? What can they do right now, today, to make an improvement?
Book a call.
Yeah.
I'm reaching for myself.
Outside of that.
Go to my calendar, book a call. I mean, it's free. Let's talk about it, because sometimes I know you may have tried figuring this out by yourself for the longest time. You just need somebody to point you in the right direction and say, hey, I mean, some people call me during the first clarity call and then I give them some nuggets and then they never call me back. So I'm like, okay, I guess my advice worked. So, yeah, truly, number two is to take a step back, and I do have some if they're feeling anxious, just stop. I do this four in and four out. That means when you breathe in, count to number four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hold 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let go 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times. Usually you'll get back to level 0 and then go start doing it again, whatever it is that you're doing.
Okay. And we will include the links to contact Nick in the description. Don't forget to look at this next episode over here. Subscribe over here. We are super happy to have you today, Nick, join our humble little podcast. We learn so much from the guests that come on the show, and this has been truly awakening for us as well, and I'm sure for our audience. Chuck, what's the golden nugget that you wanted to share today? What was your biggest download?
Love thyself. Simple. I mean, not simple to do, but as small as that. That was, Nick, you truly nailed it on the head here today, that if you feel empty inside at any phase of your life, it starts with the self. So thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, interesting. And this is ironic, but when I woke up this morning, and my fiance, she usually puts some music on in the morning. The last song that was on before I launched the podcast today was Greatest Love of All.
Whitney Houston.
You know that one? Yeah, Whitney Houston. And it's so relevant
Not
to
a
what we're talking
coincidence.
today. So yeah, that's the biggest biggest golden nugget for me. The universe truly does speak to us every moment. We just need to be listening.